Hey, what's up, beautiful bad boy people? This is your boy Tim here. I have the REBEL-X for extreme. Haha. Jokes aside, so I'm currently going to do the first oil change. Right now, my machine is sitting at 9.2 hours. So this will be the first initial oil change, and I'm going to see how this turns out. I haven't done it before, but I'm willing to learn. And this has the Vanguard 37 EFI horsepower. And it's been an awesome machine so far. But yeah, it's up to its first initial change, and I'm going to bring it to you right here, right now. And I'm an idiot, and how I do things may or may not vary on how you will do things. So just kind of take that into consideration. Different ways to do different things. I'm going to do it the way that's easiest for me, and that way, it makes the most sense, and so on and so forth. So hopefully, if it helps you out, because I looked online and there wasn't very many videos. So I figured, shoot, why not? I'll just add one to my channel and see if I can help some folks out. So what I'm going to do is, they have a bunch of wiring and stuff like that. So hold on one second. I'll be right back. All right, back again. So first of all, if you can see, let's see if I can get this in here. Right here, there's a wire. If I can, maybe I can zoom in a little bit so you can see a little bit better. It's kind of hard, but there's a little wire right here, and it's right underneath the oil filter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect that so it doesn't get oil all over it. I'm going to remove that so you'll see. I'm going to pull it out. Let's see, let me just span this out a little bit. I'm going to pull this wire out. I'm going to show you right here. So I pulled this connector out, and I'm just going to pull it out of the way so it doesn't get oil all over it. Oil and electrical connections, probably not a good thing, you know what I mean? So I'm just going to try to pull this out of the way. Let me switch hands here. So the oil doesn't, and then underneath, right down here, let me get another angle. There's another wire right here, right there, this wire here. I'm going to disconnect this, and I looked and I found that it's easier. It's because it's going down, it's going to one of the spindles. So what I'm going to do is, I found that it's going to be easier to remove it from the bottom and get that out of there, just in case any oil gets on it. I don't want to get no oil. I don't want to try to have this thing remain as clean as possible. So bring it down here, checking out underneath, right down under here. That's where this thing goes to, right here. Let's see if we can see this. Get up nice and close. So I'm just going to take and I'm going to remove it. Okay, just remove it, and then I'm going to pull this through, because again, it's some sort of electrical connection, and I don't want the oil to get on it. I'd rather just remove it and not have any oil be getting on it. So I'll just pull that from the top and just take it out of the way. Let's see. I'm just going to pull this up out of the way. Like so. Just get it out of the way, keep it nice and tidy. Okay, and then what I did is I have a little tray, and I'm going to stick this tray right underneath the oil filter. And what I'm going to basically try to do is I'm going to try to prevent any oil getting down underneath there. Just one second, I have to pause this so I can put this in the right way. Okay, back again. So I have this little tray that was in the house. It was, used for like a takeout order or something like that. But I'm just going to use this tray and slip it underneath. Let's see. I'm going to slip it underneath this oil filter, so when any oil comes out, it's going to land on the tray and not, you know, run all over everywhere. You know, just a few extra little steps that you can take in order to prevent messiness. It seems like it's a pretty good thing to do. Okay, so I got that. So that's my next step. Now, I've already loosened this oil filter because I needed both hands in order to be able to get the filter off. So what I'm going to do, see if I can get you nice and close here. Get a good view of that. Hold on 1 second. It's a little bit difficult to do, but so I'm just going to loosen this filter. And the oil is dripping out. And bingo, bam, pa-pow, look at that. This shit's going right in the freaking tray. Now, hopefully, I kick myself in the ass. And it turns out, and the tray winds up spilling. We don't really want that now, do we? Alright, bear with me because I'm in an uncomfortable position and I'm trying to get a good shot. And I'm leaning over. Oh, here we go. Okay, yeah, there she is. She's dripping out. I'm going to try to do this very ever so carefully. Alright. Pulling this thing up. And here we go. Okay. Whew. Success. Alright. So, FYI, I just used these plier oil filter wrench ratchet to get the oil filter loosened. The factory just gave it a little bit of a snug, so it was a little bit tighter than, you know, taking it off with just hand tight. Now, here's my replacement filter, and if you're wondering, let's see. Here is the part number. I'm not sure if you can see it or not. But if you're wondering where I got this filter, I got it at the Home Depot, and here's the part number right here. Let's see if I can get it better. At any rate, it's 5049, part number 492932S. And it was like 15 bucks from the Home Depot. So, that being said, I'm just going to turn around and I'm going to put some oil around the O-ring, and let's see, we're going to verify that the other ring, the oil O-ring, is off. And as you can see, yep, that is definitely come off with the old filter. So, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take and install this new filter, and I'm going to put some oil on there and send it. So, let's see if I can get this situated here. I'll be right back. Okay, back again. I had to pause the video because I had to get the new filter. And when installing the new filter, it's very, 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 very important. You want to make sure that it is not cross-threaded. Very, very, very important. So I recommend using both hands so that it doesn't go on the wrong way, because that'll get very, very expensive if you cross-thread that. And, you know, we usually don't want that to happen. So what I'll do is I'll finish installing this. Put this on. And then, like they say, you know, they just want to give it a little bit of snug. Not too many ooga-doogas and ugga-duggas, because you'll definitely damage it. You just want to get it on there just slightly over snug. Just a little bit. Hold on 1 second and be right back. I'm just going to snug this up. You know, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. You make sure you want to go right to tighten it, left to loose it, and make sure that, you know, it's on there so it doesn't leak. I'll be right back. Alright, picking up back again, And what I did is I had that little tray, like I said, just this little tray right here. I slid that underneath the oil filter just to catch any leaking oil, drippage and stuff like that. I also, to keep it level, I just put a small little box to help it keep it level, so it's not on an angle, so it doesn't wind up, you know, dripping out the side of the pan, that little tray. I've already finished installing the filter. I gave it a little bit of a extra snug, not too many oogadoogas, and so that part is finished. Now I just got to drain the oil out of the block. Be right back. Yeah, so before I forget to mention, what I like to do is I just like to take a paper towel and just try to get underneath the filter, you know, just to wipe down maybe any oil that may have seeped on out of there and stuff like that. Just give it a wipe down. You know, you don't really want that on the engine block. It could smoke, and if you're an aesthetics type of guy like me, you know, it just doesn't really look good. And then also underneath there's that electrical connection, you know what I mean? So we got to turn around and refasten that electrical connection and run this wire back through there again. So that electrical connection is right here. Take this electrical connection here, and I just put this right back on. See if I can. It's right down here. It's probably hard to see, but you're just going to push it back on again. Just like that. Let's see. Maybe I can zoom in a little bit. But it's right here. This electrical connection. I'm going to put that wire. And then, for this other one, I'm going to run that back through. And they had this going down right through there. Reaching back down and underneath, it just goes right, connects right back into here. So it's just a clip, plastic clip. You just want to line it up. Let's see. Get in here, you bugger. I'm gonna need both hands, so I have to pause this. Hold on. Yeah, man, I like to try to give it to you while I'm doing it, but sometimes when you're the camera guy and the mechanic, you know, you gotta need both hands. So yeah, but it just goes back into this right here. So as you can see, no oil on here, nice and clean. Kept the whole thing nice and clean, not a drop. And that's my mission, to stay nice and clean. You know, some may say, oh, well, you don't really need to do that. But the way that I had my little tray, if you could see right here, the wiring was going to be in the way of that tray. And I just wanted to take this extra step here and just remove this because it went down underneath it. I just didn't really want to take a chance. Maybe it's a little bit overkill, but, you know, if you thought it was overkill, just drop your comment down there. Let me know what you think. That would be pretty cool to hear what everybody's opinion is. Let me know if you think it was a shitty idea. I think the tray kind of was a good idea because, you know, maybe you could put like a rag under there, but it still would get kind of like maybe the aftermath of it would get everywhere. So right now, it's clean. I would stick my tongue on there, but I can't get my head in there. Just to prove that it's, you know, I didn't spill one single drop. But me, if I had a long tongue, I could do it. But yeah, so it's definitely a clean surface. And that's what I just did, you know. Again, how you do things might be different, but this is just how I'm doing it. Hopefully it helps you out. If it does, give me a like. It doesn't cost you a cent. All right, now we're going to work on getting the oil out of the engine block. And what I usually do is just allow the air to circulate. I'll take the oil fill cap. I'll take this off and set it to the side. Put it into place where you're not going to lose it. In this case, I'm going to set it right here, place it in my tire balancing machine. And I also, just as an extra added situation, I just like to take the dipstick and just pull it up a little bit, you know, just to get that flow, that airflow down into the crankcase, so we can make sure that all the used oil comes out. Now, with the Bad Boy, some of the things that I like, which I'm going to do a video on the things that I like about this machine, and that's to come. Oh, and by the way, did I tell you, I still have my Bad Boy. Yeah, there she is. That's right. I'll do a combined video in comparison and things that I like and things that I don't like. That's coming up real soon. So make sure you click like and subscribe, and you'll be sure to catch that video when it comes out. Yeah, and one of the cool things with the Rebel XL is the seat flips forward. So you have like all this access room to work on it. You got the clutches, the pulleys, and all these things down there that, you know, it just makes it a lot easier versus some of the models that are out there. Make no mistake, this is a big coin machine. You know, what I'm often a believer of, you know, you get what you pay for. So far, it's been a great machine. Another thing that I like here too is that it has the quick release oil. So you just wrench that off and out it comes. So I'm about to do that. And again, I'm not only the videographer, but I'm turning the wrenches too. So I've got to see if I can find someone to video this for me while I'm doing everything. That's yet to come. Well, so stay tuned. Yeah, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to drain this oil, and I'll be right back. All right, I got that all loosened out. There's just a brass cap. Let's see if I can bring you in a little bit closer so you could get your peepers on it. So there's a brass cap that, without me getting my finger in the oil, goes on right there. And you have to use a wrench to hold the other side, which is going to be, let's see if I can do this. It's going to be right there. You got to hold one side with a wrench and use another wrench to take the other cap off of this one. So you can see that this whole thing is exposed. So that's what I had to do. And what I'm seeing so far, again, this is my first time doing the oil change on this thing. And I'm seeing that it's coming out, and it's coming out slow. And from what I've done in my research, somewhere about 2.5 quarts of oil this thing is supposed to hold. So I got my oil tray down here. Let me see how much it fills up. And then when it's all done pissing out, I'll just try to like measure it, make sure that I got all the, plus I'll look at the dipstick and check to make sure that all the oil is out of there. And I don't think you want to see this, so I'm just going to pause this video and let this thing all drain out. I'll be back. Catch you in a flash. Kind of might be hard to see, but it's taken a while. It's taken probably close to just under 15 minutes, and it's kind of just dripping now once every little bit. But yeah, close to 15 minutes for the oil to come out. It's got that little hose, you know, so it doesn't come out very quickly. That's why I didn't run the video that whole time. I'm sure y'all don't want to see it pissing out like that. And just a little bit of information. The wrenches that I used to take it off is going to be a 5/8 and 11/16. 5/8, 11/16. And that's what I used. You got to scrunch it all at the same time. I mean, it wasn't really, you know, tight, just a little bit of snug so that the oil doesn't leak out. I'm going to let this finish dripping out. I want to make sure I get all that oil out of there, and then I'll pick it back up again. Be right back. Okay, back again. It's been dripping now, probably maybe time frame another 5 minutes has gone by. So about 15, just under 20 minutes. And it's just ever so slightly just dripping once every 3 seconds or so. But so this is what I'm going to do, what I like to do. Again, and how I do things and how you do these things could be just a little bit different. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the dipstick, and I'm just going to give a peek at the oil just to be sure that all the oil is out of there. And again, I'm the videographer and the mechanic here, so it's hard, but I don't know if you can see, but that dipstick is dry. It's dry. Watch, I'll touch it with my hands. There it is. Look at that. See? It's dry. There's nothing on it. If you recall, I had already wiped the dipstick. I'll touch it with my tongue. Watch. I'll touch it with my tongue. Shoot, I can't. I got you excited for a second, eh? Once I get my GoPro, if you want to see me touch the dipstick with my tongue, it'll be a dipstick touching the dipstick. No pun intended. Yeah, so, but basically, yeah, this thing is dry. I'll stick it in there again just to prove a point. Nothing's going to come out of it. And what that means is all the oil has emptied out into the oil pan. And that's exactly what we wanted. There it is. Again, I'll just touch that. As you can see, no oil, nothing's coming off of my hands. It's dry. So there we are. We got the oil filter changed. New filter on there. And all that oil is coming out. And what I'm going to do is, just so you get an idea of like how much oil came out, I'm going to stick my finger in there. And I'm going to use my pointer finger. And my pointer finger is, just to give a reference, it's probably about 3 inches long or so. I'm going to stick it in there so you can see how much oil came out. So you can see right here, that's there. So that, if I had to guess, that's definitely probably about 2.5 quarts, like the owner manual says. So there you have it. About 2, I'll go slower so you can see. About 2.5 quarts, if I had to guess. This is probably about, I would say, 5.5 quart oil pan. So makes sense. There we are. All right, so I'm just going to seal this back up again, put the bolt on, and wipe my hands off, and I'll be right back at you again. Be right back. Just a quick reference here. I got the cap that's coming off the hose. I got this inside the box end of the wrench, and you can see this goes in there nice. And that is 11/16, just for reference size. And then the other 5/8, you have to use it the other way. You put that on the kind of like the bolt end. So just so you have an idea of what's going on. All right, I'm gonna button this back up, and I'll be right back. All right, back again. I buttoned this all up, tightened it. Yeah, you know, I found it's easiest for me. I tried a couple different ways when I wasn't throwing the camera around, but I found it easier to come from underneath and just kind of use both hands, and kind of like a 3 o'clock and a 9 o'clock position, and you kind of just, you know, snug-a-dug it back again. Not too many ooga-doogas, ugga-duggas though, because, you know, they're only brass fittings, and you can definitely wind up, you know, stripping that. And, you know, that can get costly and pretty much inconvenient as well, because, you know, if you're in a time crunch mode and you got things stripping out, who the hell wants to have to run to the parts store to get parts? And, you know, some of these parts not always easily accessible too, so you might have, you know, delivery delays as well. So, but yeah, so moving on now, what I like to do, again, this is just me. I like to tape the dipstick, pull it out, just to let the oil flow back in there, the new oil. I got my handy dandy Hand E, look at that, Hand E funnel. And I'm just gonna stick that back down in there. And I'm just gonna, what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna add 2 quarts of oil, and I'm gonna check it, make sure, you know, everything is handy dandy and fine. So I don't want to add too much oil, because it's a lot easier to add more than it is to have too much in there and then take it out again, and then, you know, just too much wasted time and, you know, money too. So we don't want to waste money, especially with today's economy and stuff like that. But I'm going to add some oil, and I'll be right back. I'm sure y'all know how to add oil. You don't need me to tell you how to add the oil. So I'm going to add some oil, and I'll be right back. Oh, by the way, I'm going to go with a little bit less thicker oil. I'm up in the Northeast, and I'm doing a lot of inclines and declines. So I don't really want to go with a thicker oil, because the thicker oil, in my opinion, doesn't really lubricate as good, especially if you're on hills. It gets stuck down in the crankcase and stuff like that. So I'm just going to go with a little bit less thickness, and I'm going with the SuperTech 5W30, and that's where I'm going to go with. All right, back again. So I added the oil, and I checked it, and it looks like it takes somewhere right around 2.5 quarts. So what I'm going to do right now, with you right now, this is going to be the first fire up after the very first oil change, coming at you right now, so you can see. And then we're going to check the oil again, because we got to take a little bit in account for a little bit of the oil that's going to go into the oil filter. Just want to verify though that the oil is still full after the oil has gone into the filter, because as of right now, pretty much the oil filter is dry because it's a new filter. So coming at you right now, we're going to fire this thing right on up. There it is. That is beautiful. Yeah, buddy. First fire up after the first oil change. This thing is a beast. Purring like a kitty. Got no leaks happening. I like to see that. No leaks. Concrete is dry. I don't see anything leaking. Life is good. Alright, I'm going to kill this, and what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to double check the oil on the dipstick, and just take into account for a little bit of the oil that got into the oil filter. Still want to make sure that it's full. So let me do that, and I'll be right back. Alright, back again. I just double checked everything. I had to add just a smidgen a bit more oil, as the oil went into the filter. It took it from the crank, so I had to use a little bit more oil, put it in there, and let's see if you can see where it's at. Maybe a little bit, let me try to move it. Oh, the sun's kind of, well, at any rate, it's right about there, just above the 2 and just below the 3, so halfway between 2 and 3, so that's what it wound up using. And to recap, I just use an oil filter, pliers. I use this little tray, stuck it underneath the filter, and a little bit of this oil here. Not too much came out, but this is all from the oil filter. I just stuck the oil filter in there and just let it kind of just drain out. And the part that I got was for the oil filter was from the Home Depot, and I wasn't quite sure, you know, if I'd be able to find it at a box store. But yes, so if you're wondering, hey, do I have to order this online? Is it going to work? There wasn't very much information, so that's why I made this video. And I really wanted to, you know, do the homework to try to help everybody out. Kind of frustrating, you know, waiting on parts to come in the mail, you know, when you could just go down and support, you know, local companies. They'll probably even have it at like Ace or True Value or something like that. So it was actually pretty simple. I was kind of dreading it, and but it wasn't really all that bad. You know, it's just an oil change. If you just have a little bit of common knowledge, you know how to turn a wrench, you can get it done. And stay tuned to the end of this video. I got a really great surprise for you, and that's coming up right now. I'll be right back.